Hello friends, today we will be looking with the second video. So today we will be focusing on Power BI, how to get the data into Power BI. So firstly we will open the Power BI app. So in the last video we saw how to download it. So if you are not aware how to download it, you can watch my previous video, the day one. So this is how the Power BI interface opens. So you will get this pop-up. We'll click on get started. So they will ask you to mention your email address. So if you have the license version, so you can mention your email ID where it has been collaborated or accessed with the organization content. So you can mention any of your organization email ID to access your data in that server. So for the moment I'm clicking on cancel. So as you can see, this is the interface of Power BI desktop. We have home tab, insert, modeling, view, help, and we have three sub tabs for here to filter out the information where we will working on the filters, visualization and fields. So for the moment, so we are only looking how to get data into it. So we'll click on get data. So here you can see common data sources. We have different common data sources. We have Excel workbook, Power BI datasets, and data flow, Dataverse, SQL Server, analysis services, CSV file or text file, web, OData feed, blank queries. So here we have few options, and if you want few more, you can click on more, where you can see different cloud platforms. Okay. So yes, so this is the more option. You can see here we have all those options including JSON, PDF, Parquet, SharePoint, SQL Server database, Access database, SQL Server Analysis Service database, Oracle, IBM MySQL. We have PostgreSQL, Skybase database. Then we have Terra database, HANA, SAP. We can link with different SAP, and also we have Azure platforms, which is this one. So we have all the Azure SQL database, so you can have access to different Azure platforms in the cloud. And Power platforms, that is data marts, Power BI, data flow. So these are few Power platforms. Online services, we have few online services. So we have many more options to connect Power BI with the data sets, which is available in different applications. So to make it simple, so what is the agenda for today? That is the identify and connect to the data source, get data from a relational database such as Microsoft SQL Server or Excel, get data from a file such as Microsoft Excel, get data from applications, Azure Analysis Service, select a storage mode, fix performance issues, and resolve data into import errors. So here we will be looking how to load the data, transform the data, and parameterization of the data. So I have my sample file with me, which is in Excel format. So as this is a desktop version, so we can connect only with the Excel, but yeah, So for the moment I can show you how the pop-ups or interface occurs when we are connecting with SQL server. When I click on SQL server, it will ask for the server. So here you have to mention your SQL server database, the name, and we have few advanced, like if you want to import a direct query, you can go with the direct query. So direct query is nothing but you can directly go with the query option, and you can also type some SQL statement here, which is starting from select. If you can you know what you have to select, because SQL server may have many different data sets. So if you are specifically focusing on few of the data set, you will have to type your SQL queries here, that statement. So here you need to type the codes, select and SQL codes, which column you want, the name of the column and till what range. So you can prioritize your data set. So if you click on OK, then you will get it. So for the moment we'll be going with two options, Excel and CSV file. So firstly we will go with the Excel. I have my data with me. So I have my sample sales data, so which is this one. We have data set visual, yes, sales data. So when we click open, so it will try to connect. So this is how the navigator window comes. So in this it is showing two sheets. These are nothing but the Excel sheet, data and state. So to understand it more, I have that file open at my end. So as you can see, this is my data set. We have data and we have second sheet at state. So data, in this data we have few informations of customer ID, customer name, segment, country, state, product category, subcategory, product name, and the unit price and quantity and total sales, what is the score. So we will be connecting with this, and also we have the states, okay, with the region. This is a sample data set. So now we'll be clicking on data. We want this to be loaded, and also this state as well. So before that we have two options here, load and transform data. So load data is nothing but it directly loads the data automatically with the AI functions, that it analyzes the data types itself, it parameterizes the data itself, the headers and everything. So we will go with the both way. So firstly, and the second, we have the transform data. Transform data is one of the most important, because through this we can go with the Power Query. When we click on the transform data, the Power Query opens, and Power Query help us to manually identify the data, so what we want and what will be the type. So if I click on transform data, so the one Power Query editor will open. So this is the Power Query editor interface. So here we have tabs like home, transform, add columns, view, tools and help. Okay, so as you can see, we are in the Power Query. So here, so as you can see, we have here query setting. Here we have the properties that we are in the data. When I click on state, it will go on the name of the property, the state. So now we are in the data, and also we have applied steps. So as a Power BI, it's a powerful tool, and it has its own AI functions. So it has already detected the source, navigation has been done, and promoted headers. So these two steps we did already, data has been shown here, and it has automatically mentioned promoted headers. So and also change the types. These two actions are done here. So let's check what are the headers. So for that, as you can see here, if I go with the source, it shows like what are the source. So we selected on the source, having these two sheets in that, and we have navigation. In the navigation we added this all. As you can see in the, if I click on navigation, it will not select this first row as a column, first heading rows. So this action, when we clicked on transform data, it has been done, and it went to promote headers. It has promoted the headers here now, as you can see, but the data types has not been changed yet. Data types are all, you can see they are same, A, B, C, D, 1 2 3. So we have different types of data types like decimal number, fixed decimal number, whole number, percentage, date time, date time, date time with time zone, duration, text, true or false, or binary. So these are the few data types which are already available. And when I click on change type, so it was done by Power BI itself. It has detected that this is the data type data set here. It's all about this, the 1 2 3 means whole number. Here you can see ABCD, it's a text. Here we can see the date, the, as you can see, date, the logo of date here, again text. Similarly, it has identified for all of the columns here. So this is the power of Power BI in the transform data option. So here we have more freedom, like to check whether the data is properly assigned, there is no error. So for that, and also there is one more thing, if it is showing green, for that is, if it's showing green, as you can see here, we have a pop-up. If I click, I just make my cursor here, and as you can see, it is valid 100%, no errors and empty. So here we can check and identify what are the errors. Errors are few, we have few errors. In case, in a blank case, if there is any blank, what will happen is it will be showing one error. That if, because in a number format there should not be any text, and if there is any text, it will detect as there will be an error. So we will also look that how errors occurs if when we have any unwanted things in the rows or columns. So here we can see it's empty, and we have options like remove empty, remove errors. Here the transform data of the Power Query editor help us to remove the empty rows or columns. So you have remove duplicates, remove keep errors. You can also keep errors, replace errors. So these are all options we have. As you can see here, we have all green mark in nothing but it's showing that the data set has all been implemented with a good format. There is no errors. And also, if you want, there is one more option we have here to use first row as a header. If I remove this change type, I remove this promote header, you can see now it is in the second step. Here the header is not been defined. I will click on here, so it will show that the header, the first row as a header. So here we have it. Also we have header as the first row, so we have both options. And we have data type whole number, you can select here as well. Then we have few more functions here, we will go step by step, but for the moment we are looking how to load data and use the Power Query to assign the proper headers and the data set and data type. So now after this, I'll be clicking on close and apply. I will click on apply changes, so it will load the data. So in loading the data, what happens is, like you can see here, it is detecting the sheets based on MB, what is the size as well as rows. It has detected 9993 rows. So the tick mark shows like it has been done successfully. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the data is ready. As you can see in the field list, we have data and state both has been occurred here. So fields are nothing but whatever the loaded data which we have connected on get data through get data through Excel. The sheets are mentioned in the right side of the fields. Here if I click on this arrow, it will, we have a drop down with all the columns in that particular sheet. So in the state we have two columns, but in the state we have not assigned the columns. So as you can see here, so because we haven't given the headers first row as a header, as you can see here, we have column 1 and column 2. So that's why we need to define the headers and the data set or data type is properly assigned or not in the transform data. So now how we will do that? It's like we will go, we have three options: report, data and model. So here we have three areas, while when we after getting the data connection with the different platforms and we are into Power BI, we get three different areas. Like for the report area we have this one. Here you will be creating the report. Here we have the data whatever we have imported, and here we have the model. The model is nothing but it's a links, or I can say it is the joins which we'll be using and having one to many to move. We will be looking in the further videos. So here this is how we will load our data. And yeah, I was talking about this, how I will update this header. So here you can see this is not defined, so I will just click in the state and the right click at the fields. I will go in the edit query. So again we need to go in the Power Query editor for that. Now as you can see here, the promote header is missing. The type has been given, the promote header is missing. For that I will remove this change type and I will use this option, and you can see now the header is given with the good what is the type of data. So I will again click on close and apply. I will click on apply changes. It will load. 49 rows loaded, and this state will change in column 1 to region and state. This is how we will be loading the data, looking with the type of data and reviewing the errors what we discussed with the agenda. So we have identified and connected to the data, and we have discussed all the different platforms of the connections. Select a storage mode is also there, we will be looking after, and fix the performance issues if we have any issues, and resolving the import errors. So next video we'll be looking after.